Hey, what's up guys? It's Rosa and Zaleski. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night, Taira versus Park. This event goes down this coming Saturday, August 2nd, 2025. Prelims begin at 6 p.m. It's going down from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's get into it, guys. A couple recent edition fights that happened yesterday. So first up, Bashi against John Giannis, and Giannis, he's coming over very late replacement, coming over from Fury FC, and he's been with the promotion since 2021, and he's had a lot of success over there, a lot of TKO victories. The one of the losses he does have is by submission. He's going up against a really good grappler here in Austin Bashi. He lost to Christian Rodriguez, but you know what? That was his UFC debut. Christian Rodriguez is a pretty tough opponent, an experienced opponent in the UFC. And Bashi took the loss there. It's not bad to kind of get your first UFC loss, just get it done with. He was undefeated up until that point. So now that he's lost his undefeated record, he's probably, like I said, he's probably gonna, I don't know, he's probably more motivated, you know what I'm saying? He knows what a loss feels like, and again, the guy is a featherweight, 70-inch reach, 5'6". He's only 23 years old, man. So, again, I'm sure he's going to be a huge favorite. I'm picking Bashi to win this fight. Next up, women's strawweight division, Vieira Rodriguez against Ketlin Souza. Ketlin Souza, one fight losing streak, 29 years old, coming off a split decision loss to Angela Hill. Vieira Rodriguez, she's on a one fight winning streak, 32 years old, beat Josephine Knudsen by unanimous decision in her last fight. So let's look at the odds here, man. Again, I don't really have a whole lot of confidence either way in this fight. Vieira Rodriguez currently minus 190. I'll side with Rodriguez, but again, this is women's mixed martial arts. Would not surprise me if Souza got the win here. Felipe Bunez against Rafael Estevam. Bunez is on a one-fight winning streak. He is 35 years old. Beat Jose Johnson by armbar earlier this year. Lost to Joshua Van, but we know how good Van is. No shame in that. But again, he hasn't really fought too often. Rafael Estevam, 13-fight winning streak, 28 years old. Beat Jesus Aguilar, beat Charles Johnson. I'm going to side with Estevam here. Again, the odds, he's currently a minus 450. Seems crazy. But I'm going to go with Estevam. Rodolfo Vieira against Tresean Gore. Gore, it's on a one-fight losing streak, 31 years old. Doesn't seem like he fights too often. Did fight in April, lost to Marco Tulio by straight right in the second round. Beat Antonio Tricoli prior to that. Beat Josh Fremd. So again, Tulio, he's on a 10-fight winning streak. Okay, so he's somebody the UFC is trying to bring up. Rodolfo Vieira, it doesn't seem like this guy's had much success over the last few years. Again, great grappler, one fight losing streak, 35 years old. Lost to Andre Petrosky by unanimous decision. This may be a loser gets cut type of fight. I'm going to side with, let's see what the odds are. I'm going to side with Vieira, but man, it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust him, man. Again, kind of a grappler versus striker type fight, in my opinion. I'm going to side with Vieira. Rinya Nakamura against Nathan Fletcher. Let's take a look at the odds for this fight. Nakamura currently minus 400. Fletcher plus 300. So let's look at Nakamura real quick. One fight losing streak, 30 years old. Lost to Gafarov in his last fight. We've seen Gafarov. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. He's beat some decent competition, but also has some losses. So Nathan Fletcher. But again, let's look at Nakamura. I can't say I really remember the Vieira win, but I do remember him really kind of beating up Fernie Garcia in that UFC Fight Night card. I do remember that. Let's take a look at Fletcher. Again, I do remember him submitting the Lithuanian fighter. Lost to Kyle Longran by split decision, which isn't really a good look, in my opinion. But I think that was kind of a controversial decision. Again, it just seems like Nakamura is really hyped up here. Longran, just seems like the odds are kind of way off. I'm probably going to side with Nakamura here, but again, I don't know how you can really trust him laying that juice at minus 400. So I definitely understand anybody taking a pick on Fletcher here, or a bet on Fletcher, but it won't be something I have money on. But again, I can understand people picking Fletcher to win this or for the upset, but I'm going to still side with Nakamura here. Nick Klein against Andre Palev. One fight losing streak, 27 years old. I think he was a huge underdog to Christian Leroy Duncan in their last fight. He was a plus 340, but I just remember from when I remember seeing him that fight, he looked way slower than Duncan, and I think Duncan was just taking him down and controlling him. So again, he was on the Contender Series. He has a lot of first round finishes. I don't know if I'm really sold on this guy. Nick Klein, 6-2, one fight losing streak. Yeah, tough fight against Mensur Abdul Malik. We know how good of a striker he is. I think he's coming off a draw with Cody Brundage, but again, it looked like kind of Cody Brundage wanted out of that fight, in my opinion. I'm going to side with Nick Klein here. Again, I don't know how you can trust either fighter here. Paleyev's a minus 150. I'm going to side with the underdog here in Klein, but again, I don't really have no real faith in that pick. Danny Silva against Kevin Vallejos. Let's take a look at the odds here. Kevin Vallejos, minus 430, so almost a 4.5 to 1 favor here. Vallejos, 4-fight winning streak, 23 years old. Coming off a win over Sungwoo Choi, Cam Teague, who I think is getting another opportunity in the Contender Series. And again, you look at who he's lost to 5 fights ago, Gene Silva. You know what I'm saying? So, not too bad of a loss to have on your record. Danny Silva, 10-1. Again, this fight's at featherweight, guys. 4-fight winning streak, 28 years old. Coming off a split decision win over Lucas Almeida, beat Josh Kulbau. Again, so a couple decent wins on his UFC record here. But I'm going to side with Kevin Vallejos for the win. Neil Magny against Alezu Zaleski. And, man, this is an interesting fight. A good matchup, too. Two veterans. We have currently Zaleski at minus 200. Magny sitting at plus 170. Zaleski, 1-fight losing streak. I think he got knocked out by Chidi Ninja Gawani. That was that Delete Save Vittori card. I was there watching that fight. Not there, but I was at a sports book watching that fight. When that occurred, Zach Scrugan wins over, lost to Randy Brown. That was a good fight, though. Beat Akbar Nurmagomedov. But Neil Magny, it doesn't seem like he's done too much lately. 2-fight losing streak, 37 years old. Lost to Prates. Lost to Morellas. I could see this being a close fight. I don't know who has more in the tank here. I think I'm probably still going to side with Zaleski. This might be a very low volume fight, but I think I'm still going to side with Zaleski for a pick here. Carol Rosa against Nora Cornoli. Cornoli, 1-fight winning streak, 35 years old. Beat Haley Cowan, lost to Jacqueline Calvacani by split this. I don't know. I can't say I've been too impressed with her, but again, she might be one of the better prospects at bantamweight here. So again, she is in her mid-30s. Made her UFC debut, I think, a couple years ago. So Carol Rosa, 30 years old, 1 fight losing streak. Did lose to Aline Perez in her last fight. Beat Kenny Kinazad. I think I'm still going to side with Rosa here, man. But again, not a whole lot of confidence, but I think I'm going to side with Rosa here. Minus 170 as a minus 171 favorite. Elvis Brenner against Estevam Ribovics. Brenner, 2 fight losing streak, 27 years old. Lost to 2 tough guys, man, in Orobai and Alvarez. Again, pretty good prospect. Those are 2 pretty good prospects at lightweight. So then he does have a couple good wins prior to that. Tuhukov, Kudolazi, and Kushevsky, but I think Kudolazi and Kushevsky and Tuhukov are not even longer with the promotion. So Ribovics, 1 fight losing streak, 29 years old, lost to Nasrat Hakares by split decision, but again, went over Zellhuber, McKinney. The McKinney one was crazy, man. What a knockout. Beat Kamala Kirk. So I'm gonna side with Ribovics here again. The odds are minus 260 Ribovics. Should be a fun fight. I'm gonna side with Ribovics. Co-main event, Mateus Rebecki against Chris Duncan. Duncan, man, he's picking up a lot of wins here, and he's always discounted as an underdog. 32 years old, 2 fight winning streak. Wins over Jordan Vucenic and Bulji Oki. Again, I think they cut Vucenic after that loss. So he's picking up a lot of submission wins over here. Lost to Torres. He's picking up some good wins here, man. He's definitely earned his UFC roster spot, man. He's getting rewarded with a co-main event here. Mateus Rebecki, 1 fight winning streak, 32 years old, coming off a split decision win over Orobai. Lost to Diego Ferreira before that in a fight that he was probably winning. I think I'm still going to side with Rebecki here. Tough fighter. I think his build makes him pretty hard to submit. Again, let's take a look at his height. 5'7", 66. So he's a stocky boy, and I don't think Duncan's going to get any type of submission win over here. I'm going to side with Rebecki for the pick. Main event, late notice replacement. We have Tatsuro Taira against Hae-Sung Park. Park was originally scheduled to fight Steve Erceg next week. On the Delete Savers Hernandez UFC Fight Night card, but again, he got pulled. He typically fights at flyweight, from what I'm seeing. And again, I can't say I've seen him fight. I don't remember the Carlos Hernandez fight. Beat Shannon Ross prior to that. So he's been in the UFC for a little bit. Came in on the road to UFC. So, again, he's picking up a lot of finishes here. Excuse me, guys. So, again, he's stepping up in a 5-round main event against a really good prospect here in Tatsuro Taira. But Park, 29 years old, 5'7", 66-inch reach. So he's a pretty big flyweight. But again, this fight is taking place at flyweight. Kept thinking it was a bantamweight fight, but Taira is a flyweight fighter. So he isn't stepping up a weight class, guys. Taira, 1 fight losing streak, 25 years old, 5'7", 70. So these guys are going to be the same height. Taira's got a little longer of a reach. His fight with Royval, man, I thought was probably decided by that 5th round. I probably had a 3-2 Royval. What a fight. I think Taira was a huge favorite in that fight. Minus 310. But again, that was a really good fight. Taira showed he could go the 5 rounds. He looked super impressive prior to that, man. Beat Carlos Hernandez, Alex Perez. I mean, Alex Perez, I think, blew his knee out with that submission that Taira locked up. I mean, he's beat everybody the UFC has put in front of him, and he kind of had a slow build, you know. And now he's headlining fight night cards, and I think that's good for him, man. I think this guy's a serious prospect. These guys might both be serious prospects. So again, this fight is taking place in the men's flyweight division. Should be a really good scrap, but how much? You have to think, how much is Park ready to go those 5 rounds? You know. Taira is a submission threat the entire 5 rounds. But again, this should be a really good scrap, man. A really good scrap here. I do like the matchup, even, you know, it's late notice. But I'm still gonna side with Taira here. But man, this is a big opportunity for Park. He doesn't have much to lose. He's facing a top 10 bantamweight here. So I'm gonna side with Taira here. So again, guys, my picks: Taira, Rebecki, Ribovics, Rosa, Zaleski, Vallejos, Klein, Nakamura. I'm picking Vieira, Estevam, Rodriguez, and Bashi.